Hello and welcome to MCFC 9320. Is there anybody who can give Riz a tap on the back, please? John, you're a plumber. Can you give him a tap on the back? Welcome, everybody, and welcome to John number 2. We'll have to call you Stan, won't we?
Stan.
John.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't mind.
Jesus Christ! Sorry to wake you up, pal. You okay?
No, you're all right.
I thought it was John Stanhope, but apparently it's not John. It's Jack D. We've got. Or is it Victor Eldrew? Anyway,
it's Burnley's old manager.
Let's get into it, boys and girls. So, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the women, or do you want to start with City's wonderful win at Wolves?
City's wonderful win at Wolves. Why not?
Right. We'll start with you, John, seeing as you're a virgin. Stan, what did you think of the game, buddy?
So we were all right, weren't we? We were 2-0 up at half time, and then didn't need to do anything in the second half, so we didn't. It was that simple. I don't think we got out of the first game. Super Jackie getting that first goal. You up, mate?
So, what do you reckon that the stick what Grealish is getting at the minute? Because I thought he was man of the match, head and shoulders above everybody yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Sure, pretending it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Not sure if he's man
Try
of the
telling
match,
us, you know what I mean?
He's doing well. You've got to remember he's working in a really, really difficult system. And he's in probably the worst position you can get. Everyone who plays on them flanks, be it Mahrez, be it Sterling, be it whoever, they will always get flack. Because you can't get the ball forward when you're that far up and you're that out wide. You're going to stop and come back. And people think it'd be slowing up the pace.
Foden doesn't.
Really.
Leroy Sané never.
Oh, he has had slack. He has. He has. Foden has had. Sané has. Some people were glad to see Sané go.
I wasn't. Was you, Anne-Marie?
Definitely not.
Why?
Because I think he had something that we quite often lack at times, and that's pace. Sometimes it's, if you go back to Wednesday night against Dortmund, I know we won the game, but everything in this, especially in the first half, was just so slow. And we're better when we're quick and we can hit teams at pace. And I think that the likes of Sané definitely bring that. And now going back to Jack had a really good game on Saturday. And I think it was more to do with the fact that he had the freedom not to just stick to that wing position. Quite often he was caught in the middle and different things, and I think that suits his game more than being stuck rigidly out on the left wing.
Oh, I agree. Riz,
yes.
I absolutely agree with what Anne-Marie's saying there. He played in a different role, didn't he, yesterday, Grealish?
Yeah, it was more
Saturday.
Yeah, it was more free flowing, I think, wasn't it? And I don't know whether, Pep must have told him to do that because he wouldn't have done it otherwise, would he? So yeah, that's where he's better suited, where he can just be a bit more up the middle. But when he did have to take people on, he did actually take them on the outside, and apart from a bit of unfortunate, good defending, his crosses were stopped. But it so annoys me with Jack Grealish. All they talk about is his price tag. It's not his fault. He doesn't want to be £100 million player. Just because the club paid that for him, it doesn't mean that he's got to be a world beater to start with. Very few are. Haaland was 55 million, and he hit the ground running. So is he a freak then? Is because he's dead cheap and hit the ground running? It works both ways, doesn't it?
I allude to what Stan actually said about playing on the left. In all seriousness, I think it is anybody who plays on the wing. We can perceive it as, like Grealish, for instance, he's passing backwards and stuff like that. Pep might say to him, if you've not got anything on, pass it simple back. John number one. With regarding Grealish, I've seen something really a stupid journalist who I'm not going to mention because I'm not even going to give him the airtime, reckons that Grealish has told his close friends that he don't expect to be at City next season.
Well, I've not heard that. And so...
Well, it mustn't be true then. If Celebrity John's not heard it, then it's definitely not true.
Paul, I can tell you this now, it isn't true.
No, I agree. Why would he want to leave when everywhere will be a backward step, won't it? No matter where he went, even if he went to say La Liga. I just don't know where they get these nonsense ideas from.
It's just clickbait, mate. That's all it is. They just try and put something out there, hoping that they'll get a reaction, and it always seems to be against. It's like if anything's not going right with a player, they just seem to hound them, and they grind them down. You know,
I loved Grealish's interview afterwards, and he went, "Yeah, I am disappointed with myself. I want to score more goals. You know, I want to get more assists. You know, I think he was expecting him, you know, going into his shell, but he's really, really honest, and I don't think it's letting anything phase him, and rightly so. I think Pep must have had a cigar on Saturday night, knowing that, you know, he protected Jack. He came out in his defence, you know, before the Wolves game. And it worked out well. As I say, they played him in a different kind of role, but I just think it worked perfect for him.
It did, and like you say, he went more central at times. So, not on a normal day, he wouldn't have got that goal. He would not have been in the box at that time.
No, and that was, if you want, Sané or Sterling-esque, wasn't it? You know,
no, he got the goal. Sterling would have missed.
Yeah.
Right, it was Gundogan-esque.
Yeah, Gundogan-esque.
Stan, with regarding Grealish, what disappoints me more than anything is City fans getting. It seems like Sterling's gone, so let's get on Grealish's back now. And why do City fans do that?
They're not fans, are they?
We have to. It's a tradition. Going right back to Richie Edgill. If you've not got a scapegoat, then somebody somewhere is not happy. But I thought Rich brought up a good point. If we'd have bought Grealish for 51 million or 54, whatever we bought for Haaland, and Haaland was bought for 100 million, which is probably what they should be, do you think any of these problems or any of these conversations would be taking place?
No, definitely not.
And that's because out of control of the player, you know, the prices aren't what we think they should be. So straight away, people get criticised or not get criticised. Akanji, he's had a couple of good games. Will he keep this up? We don't really know, do we? But at the minute, it's like a £17 million steal. I hope he does keep it up, don't get me wrong. But 50 games down the line, then we've got a better idea of what he's doing.
Exactly.
I think that's a great point, that Stan, because Akanji, you know, he's played three games for us now, and he looks. In fact, he reminds me a little bit of Company when Company first joined us. But like you say, he's had 3 relatively decent, easier games. You know, will he do it against a Liverpool or an Arsenal? Who knows? But I think the 17 million, I think it looks a real deal, and I think it spoke volumes where Diaz was rested against Dortmund and Akanji, you know, got the nod.
Can I just say something? Do you remember when Coutinho went from Liverpool for 125 million?
How can we forget?
What has he done since leaving Liverpool? He's a total failure.
Scored number 2 against us and thought he stopped us winning the league last season.
Well, that's about it. But, you know, they don't. The kind of stuff that Grealish is getting now, he never got any of that.
And That's where it comes down to. We're not still not media darlings, aren't we?
We're not.
Media darlings.
He was in Spain, wasn't he, to be fair?
The rags.
He was in Spain when he was doing that, so nobody cares.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he still failed in Spain, and he's come back here now.
British press aren't gonna, but the British press aren't going to cover a Brazilian failing in Spain.
Yeah, I know, but
if it had been England,
now he's come back here. He's playing at Villa. You know what I mean? It's why are they not saying things like, you know, he failed and now, you know, he was £100 million player then. You know,
how much did Villa pay for him?
Not much, I don't think.
I think 25 quid and 10 woodbines, I think.
Well, there you go. See, it's because they won't mention the fact that Liverpool sold him for 125 million. They'll just know that Villa bought him for 25 million, and then, you know, there you go. He's just doing his thing, and it's not a story, is it? It's not a story. The story is that, you know, the Coutinho money kept Liverpool in business for the last 10 years, didn't he? You know, it was that. You know, every time they bought a player, it's the Coutinho money. You know, it's that's the story. The story, the fact that he's a flop, and probably overrated at Liverpool, as most of their players are.
Anne-Marie, what's your stance on Grealish? There's certain sections of City fans. Do you notice that where, you know, on your social media as well as you know, when you're at the match?
You do notice it, and I think, like Stan said before, I think it's a case of there's something wrong if we haven't got a scapegoat. Now, you know, my scapegoat is Mahrez. I haven't got time for him at all.
I would never have guessed.
I didn't think you would.
On that bombshell.
But what amazed me, just on that subject, was on Wednesday night against Dortmund, when you read the evening news the next day, you'd swear Mahrez had been the best player on the pitch and didn't deserve to get subbed. Now, I presume my bias isn't that bad, that I think that report was watching a completely different game to me.
I don't think he watched it.
Well, I don't think he watched it. But, you know, at that point, both Grealish and Mahrez deserve to be subbed.
Absolutely.
Mahrez has been very lazy since he signed his contract. He's not
exactly.
He's not back defending like he used to be, and he seems to have turned into a little bit of a prima donna. And that's, you know, I'm a fan of Mahrez, but I'll be honest, you know, that's what I've seen.
I'm not going to say anything, but on Jack, I think Jack, it is gonna, you know, it's gonna take time, because he's gone from being a big fish in a little pond to being a little fish in a big pond, and he is working it out. And you know, you look at Saturday's game, and Saturday's game was a massive improvement from what we'd seen during the week. But you know, you look, our next game is the derby, and it.
Does he start?
But does he start? Yes, I think he does. But you know, I'm not sure that I like Foden playing out on the right.
Foden can play anywhere for me. Was it last season when he played on the right and he destroyed Liverpool?
Yeah.
So Foden, like, in fact, let's talk about the game a little bit. City's first goal, you know, got to say well done to Kevin De Bruyne as well. He's matched Steven Gerrard's assist record with, was it 287 games in the bank? He's 287 games less. So, you know, fair play. But the first goal, I just thought the link-up play between Foden and De Bruyne was just class. And, you know, Grealish was there to pop it in.
Who was that behind Grealish? Sorry, Andy. Who was that behind Grealish? There was a player behind Grealish. Who?
No, Haaland was in front of him, wasn't he?
Yeah, Haaland.
Yeah. But there was somebody just behind him.
The defender.
No.
Yeah, it would have been Cancelo or Rodri.
I think it was Cancelo.
that's where Jack would have been last season.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
And that first goal wouldn't have been counted. But I think now that he's getting that bit of confidence and getting into the goal better. But this is one of the things as well when they're up front. When Pep changes his system, somebody always suffers a little bit because it's moved. And they seem to be like, not quite the same piece that they were the season before or a few games before. And it must be difficult because up front there, they're treading on sand, aren't they? Things are always moving. It's always moving around. You've got the base at the back. The ball goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you've got to move around up the front. Things are changing all the time. And how he wants to pop the ball through, or pop it to the wing, or pop it into the middle, somebody will suffer. And I think at the moment we're probably paying a little bit more now towards Jack's strengths. Whereas last year they weren't. Jack had to fit in. But he's starting to find a way now to get him involved. So that, like you say, Foden will always be involved. Foden's Foden. You've got to get the other person involved.
We have to though now. We have to play a little bit different because we're playing with an out and out number 9, aren't we? Where that's something we've not been used to doing. So something
Correct. Correct. And that's what I was going to say 2 years ago. I forget who it was. But we then had to start learning to play without an out striker. I think it was Jesus really, who doesn't really know what he wants to be. Is he an out striker or is he a winger? And one minute
he seems to be a striker for Arsenal at the minute.
That's fair enough. Maybe that's all he needed, that little run.
Yeah.
But because things change all the time and it's mixing round, I don't think he's settled. Didn't mean he wasn't a bad player. He's an excellent player. It's just didn't quite work for him. But now we've got that forward. Ireland's there. And then it's the other two around him, tuck in a little bit more, or
One thing I did notice about the Wolves game, and that was regarding Haaland, and I've noticed it over the last couple of games that his game's changing as well to suit us. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed he's actually coming back now and getting the ball, and he's actually passing the ball out wide and things like that. It's like for that third goal when he passed it to Kev, and then Kev, smashed it across, got his assist. I've noticed his game's changing towards us as well. So we're actually working towards each other now. And when it comes perfectly, when they actually finally work it out together, it's going to be even better than it is now.
We're going to absolutely destroy a team, aren't we?
Yes,
it's going to all come together in one game.
And hopefully it's on the 2nd of October.
The rags.
John, just regarding Haaland, yeah, absolutely spot on. Like showing it for his actual goal yesterday. He came back from deep, and the space he got, and I think it proves it a little bit because I think that's the first goal he scored in over a year from outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, he'll change, and he'll get better.
I'll tell you, I was really impressed with it as well, though, yesterday, John, and that was Rodri yet again. He's an unsung hero, he just mocked everything up yesterday yet again, and I don't know why he doesn't get the plaudits. Maybe because he's not £100 million.
You say that, but I think he gets the plaudits off the fans that understand football.
Yeah.
The fans that go watching the games week in, week out, not just, not on the TV, who actually go to the games and watch him, see his movement, see what he does. He's, it's no wonder Fernandinho just thought, what, I can't compete with this anymore. This is my game and he's better than me now, so it's time for me to go. You could see why he didn't want another contract because he saw in training what we're now seeing on the pitch. He's a superstar, the guy, and those of us fans who watch it week in and week out and have the slightest clue about football and are honest, he's an 8 or 9 out of 10 every week.
Yeah. It's a bit like watching Gareth Barry when we got him. So underrated, but yet so pivotal to the team.
Yeah.
And it is only the fans that are watching him week out realise just what an asset he is to the team.
Yeah.
You only noticed how good they are when they've left. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
You know what's
Absolutely.
happened when they're not playing. And you think, that goal should have been cleared.
Dan, let me ask you something about. I'm disappointed at the moment with Calvin Phillips. Obviously, he can't help being injured, but there was injury concerns over him before we bought him, and it's rearing its ugly head again. He might not even be fit. I'm not about the World Cup, but he might not even be fit for the World Cup. What in November? Surely that's concern about the midfield. That God forbid if Rodri did get injured.
I don't know. If his shoulder's a fresh injury, there's nothing you can do about that. If he has had shoulder injuries before, then you'd wonder what's going on. But then again, when we signed Gundogan, he wasn't right.
He was injured when we got him, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that was an injury. What we knew was going to be, a couple of months in it, and he would be okay with.
But then got injured again.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if we thought he was going to be okay. It's a bit of a dicky injury, isn't it? It's not, it's an injury. It's not great.
It's Man City and injured players. We seem to buy him all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember. I know he's not the favourite of the month at the moment, but Mendy, didn't he get injured on the plane coming over? Probably the actual hostess trolley smashed into his leg.
Probably the hostess.
No, that was the. That was what thingy won it. No, it won.
Boateng.
Jerome Boateng it was, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, Mendy got injured.
Mendy got injured with the air stewardess, I think. I think that's what happened. Not a
Allegedly.
trolley. Allegedly, of course, obviously. Yeah.
So anyway, so we looked really, really good on Saturday, Riz. We just looked as if we could go up another couple of gears, didn't we?
You know what? I don't even think we got out of second gear. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think Stan said at the beginning that we just, we weren't. I think, right. I'll stick my neck out here. I would say watching that was probably one of the worst performances of the season. Yet we comfortably won 3-0, if that makes sense. We didn't even get out of second gear. We did what we had to do. We got an early goal. They came back into it a bit. We rode the storm for 10-15 minutes. And, well, for 10 minutes. And then we just banged another one in. And they never looked like coming back. I hope we're going to talk about the red card incident, because that seems to have got a little bit of airing on Twitter.
Yep. I just thought it was an absolutely disgusting tackle, and
it wasn't a tackle, Andy. It was just an out-and-out assault on the player.
It was.
Well, the lad himself was like, "Oh, I can't believe I've been sent off." Really? Really?
I think, you know what? I don't think his reaction was, "I can't believe I've been sent off." I think that reaction was, "What did I do that for? Why did I do that?" I think, when you see a player in the box and the ball comes over and they jump up and handball it, it's an instinct. And I think he did it and he thought, "Shit, what have I just done? I can't believe I've just done that." I just think he did it.
Riz, to be honest, if I was playing against City, I'd probably do that in the first minute to get sent off.
Yeah, to save the embarrassment.
The thing is, Riz, what he'd done was, it was at that period where they were trying to get back in the game. But when you see those comedies and you see the big fella with his hand on the head, the little fella,
punching away like that, yeah.
That was Wolves. They're banging away, they're getting nowhere, and he's just snapped and gone.
Yeah, his head's gone, hasn't it? He's literally, that was a head's gone case. That's a classic example.
Yeah.
But people have come out saying, that was why was that a sending off, and then the one where Haaland had his foot up, and did he not watch football? Did he not understand what the differences are?
They're idiots.
One of the reasons why is the reason Haaland didn't get sent off. I think whatever defender, his head was low down. So it doesn't. And that's not just making an excuse, but it's we see.
Well, he had a foot on the ground, if nothing else. You know, he had a foot in the ground and he was in control of his foot. That guy, it was literally like watching Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon.
Apart from Bruce Lee was under control though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Marie, we've got to talk about Haaland scoring yet again. You know,
He's just a beast. You've got to love him.
I think Anne Marie's got a new.
I've got a new little love in my life, I think.
A Nordic meat shield.
He's good friends with Mahrez, apparently, Anne Marie.
Well, he can be. Doesn't mean I have to be.
Yeah, but it might come with a deal.
I doubt it.
But it looks like he's going to score, Anne Marie, in every single game, doesn't he? He's going to get at least one good chance every single game.
Oh, there's no doubt about he's going to get that chance every game, particularly with the way we play. And I think the more we all adapt to each other, the better that will become. And it's just, I mean, we're spoiled. We're so spoiled with what we watch week in and week out. But to see the way he plays, and he's playing with a smile on his face, he's happy. His dad's happy in the stand as well. You know, I think it's the start of a beautiful friendship.
Oh, no, I totally agree.
Have you got your poster on your wall?
Not yet.
Anne-Marie, so I think is the difference this season, because against Dortmund, tight game, he scores the winner. Maybe last season before, we only get a draw out of that, but we end up taking 3 points, and you know that could happen in any game for us. Tight games against you know, whether it's Liverpool or Arsenal or
100%. But you just look, and it wasn't. I mean, his finish was unbelievable, but the ball from Cancelo was just sublime.
Oh.
You know, the outside of the boot, and it was just right on his toe, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we've got like you say, I think we've had a missing piece of our jigsaw for the last 2 seasons, and I think we've found it.
I agree. John, I'm going to be controversial here. I think Cancelo's had a poor season so far.
Wait, John?
You eat that.
Me?
Yeah.
I'd agree with you, actually. He has had a poor season. He's done very little in games. He's done the odd thing that changes a game. But I think there's a few of them this season that have had quite a bad season so far. And I'd even go to say that Kevin De Bruyne is one of them.
Agree with
you? I think
by his standards, absolutely.
By his standards, his passing's been off and everything.
Well,
but I think he's trying to change the way he plays as well. But I think we're all trying to adapt to Haaland. And Haaland's going to.
I think Kevin's got a lot. I think Kev's got a bit more room now, hasn't he? So I think he's got a bit more time on the ball. So where normally he's been under pressure, so he's having to move the ball quickly. He's now can slow down a little bit and have a think about it. So whether that suits him or not, I don't know. But we've said it. I think we've all said it now. Is that we're adapting, and it's not going to be perfect week in, week out. Towards the end of the season, halfway through the season, I think if when we come out of the year after the World Cup, a couple of games after that, I think we'll be on it. I think I can't see anybody touching us, to be honest.
I'm dreading this World Cup.
I've been controversial about saying Cancelo's had a poor season. Stan, I also think Diaz has had a poor season so far as well. And you know something? I felt sorry for Aki a little bit because I'd have played Aki ahead of Diaz on Saturday. Stan, woo!
No, I'm just thinking what you were saying there. This is another one, that midfield. What would you say our strongest midfield three is?
I would say Gundogan, De Bruyne, and Rodri.
That's the one. I mean, because I'm not 100% sure how well Silva and De Bruyne work together at times. And yet they're both fantastic players, and either one of them would lead a team. That's not a problem. It's just I think sometimes we get bogged down a little bit in that, okay, we weren't 95% perfect this week. We were only 80% perfect. And it's like, yeah, he hasn't been quite as good. And yet we've probably had our best start in years.
Mm.
You know,
I think we're more critical now, and our expectations are really high, aren't they, for every player, and quite rightly so.
I mean,
and I think that's probably it.
I mean, let's not get it wrong. Like when we won the corner years ago, the kid had to go bananas. It'd be great, but you can't get away with that now. Things have all moved on.
Yeah.
And we probably are a little bit more critical, and we probably are looking at things. We as fans have had to move on as well, haven't we? We can't just sit there in second gear thinking, this is all right.
I would say
we've got. I think this is what Pep has been getting at a little bit, that the crowd pick up.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, you're right, Stan.
I think with regarding, we're a bit more critical. I think fans of our generation, everybody who's on here, we have a little bit more. We're not as much critical. We've been there, we've done that, we've gone through bad times. I think some of the, not saying all the younger fans, if we get a draw, social media goes boom. If we get a draw, it's like we've got a divine right to win everything. You know something? Yeah. Everybody in the workplace has
exactly.
a yeah.
Me and John don't.
No, you're right. It's yeah, you're not allowed to have a bad day at work anymore. Everybody has them, don't they? And
no, they don't work.
That's what I was just a little. What is it? A little left jab to warm him up. He's gone now.
He's soaking now. Actually, leave it like that, Andy. It's much better.
Better that, yeah. We might get more viewers.
No,
at least he's got his teeth in now.
I think sometimes, though, you'd accept the criticism more of the team if it was actual valid criticism.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff you hear, you're just thinking, oh, Jesus, give it a rest, man.
And it's a lot of the young ones as well. It's mainly the young ones. What?
It's the young ones and the foreign ones, I'm afraid.
Neil and Vivian, the young ones.
Yeah,
no, they're the older ones.
It's the young ones and those with SZN after the names and stuff.
Look at Anne-Marie, the lush head there knocking a Perno back there.
No.
Other brands of cola are also available.
Right, before we get on to the women, right, I know you've seen me drinking Iron Brew. We are not sponsored by Iron Brew. We're actually sponsored now.
Say it again.
By 3 Retro.
Say it again.
It's again.
By who?
3 Retro.
No, that can.
We're not sponsored by these. We're sponsored by 3 Retro, so we'd like to thank 3 Retro for sponsoring us. They're on a good thing,
What does 3 Retro do, Andy?
We do all retro shirts for any club, any international team, and stuff like that. Highly recommended. Some absolute.
Is the clue in the name?
Hey?
Is the clue in the name retro stuff?
It could have been video games. You just don't know in this day and age. Could have been.
So anyway, right. For women, yesterday.
Hang on a minute. I'm not finished with our sponsors.
Go on then.
You don't mind? Paying good money for this. Is it possible that they may be able to kit us out with retro shirts, for promoting them as part of the sponsorship deal?
Who knows what may happen, my friend?
Nice.
I'm sure they will give us free giveaways for
large.
Medium.
Bloody hell, what retro year is that from?
That's his retro body.
Stan says medium. I think he's on about Mr. Meg. anyway,
It's because it's a 1975 shirt. It doesn't mean you're the same size as you were in 1975. Anyway, carry on.
Honestly,
right, I'm the